Welcome back to Anything You Want, the channel where we dive deep into the stories behind Turkey's brightest stars. If you enjoy exclusive insights and dramatic retellings of the news shaking the entertainment world, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and share your opinion in the comments. And if you'd like to support us even further, tap join. It helps us keep delivering these in-depth stories you love. The saga surrounding Gökberk Yıldırım's arrest has become a drama in itself, rivaling the intensity of the television series that once made him a household name. What began as a late-night altercation in a restaurant in Gökberk has now unfolded into a love story tested by handcuffs, glass partitions, and relentless media scrutiny. Sources close to the judicial environment whisper of a heartbreaking confession Gökberk made: "I don't want my wife to see me in handcuffs. I prefer that she remember me as the free man she loves, not as a prisoner." The irony is striking. Though he and actress Cemre Arda have not yet formalized their union, Gökberk calls her "my wife" in private, proof of the bond he feels so deeply, it transcends legal labels. His words, spoken to officers at the moment of his transfer, were reportedly uttered when he learned Seamra was waiting for him at the courthouse exit. What followed was a scene that witnesses describe as both cinematic and devastating. The proud actor, his hands shackled, requesting that no eye contact be made with the woman he loved. Those present recall his voice trembling. "I couldn't bear to see her cry when she saw me like that." Known for his strength, reserve, and sometimes impenetrable exterior, Gökberk suddenly appeared fragile, not because of the chains themselves but because of the image they created. To him, being reduced to a criminal in Semra's eyes would be humiliation beyond endurance. What haunted him most was the idea of leaving in her memory a picture of him subdued, helpless, and stripped of dignity. Have you ever thought about this, dear viewers? Is protecting the image of dignity a noble act of love, or an unnecessary pride that only deepens pain? Tell us in the comments, should Seamra have been shielded from that sight, or should love demand presence even in moments of weakness? The media seized on Gökberk's statement, and when Seamra heard it, her reaction was as layered as the roles she has portrayed. On one side, devastation. The man she adored had chosen absence over confrontation. On the other, unshakable resolve to stand beside him, no matter the circumstances. According to those closest to her, she wept and yet whispered through tears, "I don't care how the world sees him. If he's handcuffed, if he's weak, if he's broken, I will continue to see him as the man I love. He is my strength, even when he thinks he doesn't have it." The tabloids rushed to amplify the story. Headlines screamed across kiosks, "Gökberk's pride and love that defies handcuffs." Welcome back to Anything You Want, the channel where we dive deep into the stories behind Turkey's brightest stars. If you enjoy exclusive insights and dramatic retellings of the news shaking the entertainment world, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and share your opinion in the comments. And if you'd like to support us even further, tap join. It helps us keep delivering these in-depth stories you love. The saga surrounding Gökberk Yıldırım's arrest has become a drama in itself, rivaling the intensity of the television series that once made him a household name. What began as a late-night altercation in a restaurant in Gökberk has now unfolded into a love story tested by handcuffs, glass partitions, and relentless media scrutiny. Sources close to the judicial environment whisper of a heartbreaking confession Gökberk made: "I don't want my wife to see me in handcuffs. I prefer that she remember me as the free man she loves, not as a prisoner." The irony is striking. Though he and actress Cemre Arda have not yet formalized their union, Gökberk calls her "my wife" in private, proof of the bond he feels so deeply, it transcends legal labels. His words, spoken to officers at the moment of his transfer, were reportedly uttered when he learned Seamra was waiting for him at the courthouse exit. What followed was a scene that witnesses describe as both cinematic and devastating. The proud actor, his hands shackled, requesting that no eye contact be made with the woman he loved. Those present recall his voice trembling. "I couldn't bear to see her cry when she saw me like that." Known for his strength, reserve, and sometimes impenetrable exterior, Gökberk suddenly appeared fragile, not because of the chains themselves but because of the image they created. To him, being reduced to a criminal in Seamra's eyes would be humiliation beyond endurance. What haunted him most was the idea of leaving in her memory a picture of him subdued, helpless, and stripped of dignity. Have you ever thought about this, dear viewers? Is protecting the image of dignity a noble act of love, or an unnecessary pride that only deepens pain? Tell us in the comments, should Seamra have been shielded from that sight, or should love demand presence even in moments of weakness? The media seized on Gökberk's statement, and when Seamra heard it, her reaction was as layered as the roles she has portrayed. On one side, devastation. The man she adored had chosen absence over confrontation. On the other, unshakable resolve to stand beside him, no matter the circumstances. According to those closest to her, she wept and yet whispered through tears, "I don't care how the world sees him. If he's handcuffed, if he's weak, if he's broken, I will continue to see him as the man I love. He is my strength, even when he thinks he doesn't have it." The tabloids rushed to amplify the story. Headlines screamed across kiosks, "Gökberk's pride and love that defies handcuffs." Talk shows dissected every word. Was her speech an act of unconditional love, or a dangerous step that could harm her reputation and career? The impact did not remain confined to Turkey. In Italy, Spain, and Latin America, entertainment outlets dedicated entire segments to the story. The Spanish magazine Pronto declared, "Love without chains, Seamra defends her partner before millions." In Argentina, gossip shows debated her faithfulness with passion. The story transcended borders, turning two Turkish actors into protagonists of a universal drama of loyalty, dignity, and pride. Meanwhile, whispers from prison revealed Gökberk's reaction. Sources close to his defense team confirmed he managed to watch fragments of the interview. Overcome with emotion, he reportedly told his cellmates, "She is my greatest strength. If I can survive here, it's because I know that outside, she's waiting, refusing to let go of my hand." As the trial date looms, anticipation intensifies. Rumors suggest Seamra plans to testify in his defense, even drafting a letter to the judge, arguing that her partner was provoked, that his so-called crime was nothing more than human reaction under pressure. Supporters see this as a final act of loyalty, critics call it reckless. Whatever the outcome, one thing is undeniable: their love has become the central character of this ongoing saga, overshadowing even the judicial process itself. Here on Anything You Want, we want to know your thoughts. Do you think Seamra's loyalty will strengthen Gökberk's case, or could it jeopardize her future in the industry? Should love defy all obstacles, or are there moments when stepping away is wiser? In the end, the tale of Gökberk Yıldırım and Cemre Arda is not merely about an arrest, but about the collision of pride, vulnerability, and devotion. It is a story unfolding in courtrooms, TV studios, and across social networks, a story that reminds us how love can be both a shield and a burden. Their saga continues, a modern tragedy written with tears, handcuffs, and unshakable declarations of fidelity. Thank you for joining us on Anything You Want for this deep dive into one of the most emotional dramas in Turkish celebrity life. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment with your thoughts. And if you'd like to help us grow, press join to access exclusive perks and behind-the-scenes polls. And now, we ask you, which Turkish celebrity should we spotlight next? Your voice shapes this channel, so let us know, and we'll make it happen. Until next time, remember, love stories may falter under the weight of the world, but sometimes, against all odds, they stand unbroken.